So I have another question for you two. When you are exploring game worlds, do you ever feel, and this is kind of a pet theory of mine that I'm getting to, but do you ever feel the emotion of awe?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yes, very much so.
When do you think you feel that emotion?
Are you asking for like a specific example of a time that I felt awe in a video game, or of things that generally inspire awe for me in video games?
I guess I was thinking, what kind of things in video games inspire awe?
Scale.
Specific examples works.
Yeah. So scale for sure. Like when I'm just trying to think off the top of my head of moments that inspired awe in video games for me, it typically always has some element of scale associated. Like obviously, like Breath of the Wild was chock full of this, right? Like I actually spend basically the entire first 2/3 of any Breath of the Wild playthrough that I do in a state of awe at the scale of the game, because that game is so specifically fine-tuned to make the world feel immense and empty and beautiful and haunting, and those things all kind of like coalesce together into this like sense of awe for me. But the one of the earliest times that I can remember feeling this way was playing Halo CE.
Yeah, dude, when you first land on the ring.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That was that was going to be my example as well.
Yeah. Like actually I think Halo 1 is so full of those moments. It's something that the series actually, just in my opinion, kind of had a difficult time recapturing in later installments. Like I love those like first 4 or 5 Halo games, right? Like they're absolutely incredible. But there was some X factor in the scale of the perceived scale of things in Halo 1 that I can't really put my finger on, but like I felt it's like the first time you see the ring, the first time you see the ziggurat in Assault on the Control Room, right? Like it was just immensely just awe-inspiring. So yeah, I think scale paired with like confident artistic direction is probably one of the biggest things that does it for me. If you've got some sweeping musical cues that are like going along with that.
So I'm going to bet that one of Matt's answers is Mass Effect.
Yeah. I mean, so the first time you see the Citadel, right, in Mass Effect 1 is a huge moment that is accompanied by one of those musical swells. To this day, the Citadel track on the Mass Effect OST is one of my favorites. It's just like even listening to that musical cue brings back the very first time I ever saw the Citadel, and it was just like comes out of the cloud, out of the nebula, backlit by this beautiful purple and blue lighting with all these alien ships flying around it. It was just incredible. And then like, yeah, like, man, just talking about it gets me excited. Like, I don't know what it is, but like you get that feeling, that adrenaline, that like, whoa, that is really cool moment. Like almost more intensely than you do in movies in some ways for me. Like, yeah. I love it. So
I started thinking about this a lot because I realized several years ago that a lot of my very favorite games, the games that like really, touched me emotionally and like changed me and shaped my tastes and stuff, a lot of them were games that made me feel awe, especially while exploring, but not always. Examples of those games might be stuff like Shadow of the Colossus, Chrono Trigger, Destiny 1, The Taken King.
Hell yeah.
Most Zelda games, but especially the best Zelda games. And Mass Effect. I have a big long list. But I ended up reading up on, like, it was very clear to me that the feeling, the emotion of awe was very tightly connected to a sense of scale and perception of size and importance and maybe agency in game worlds. So I actually read up a little bit on some research on like what causes humans to feel the emotion of awe from like a scientific perspective. And I found a research paper that basically broke it down to kind of 2 major things, 2 components that are required for someone to feel awe. And the first is a sense of vastness, right? You need to encounter something larger than yourself, something that makes you feel small, so much larger than what you're used to that it makes you really realize how small you are compared to what it is.
Like
And
a
this can
Halo
be-
ring?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This can be physical or metaphorical, right? Like people get this in religious contexts a lot, and that's always a metaphorical, or maybe metaphorical isn't the right word, but it's like it's not a physical sense of scale.
Sure.
It's a spiritual one. And the other one is called accommodation, which is when I read this, I was like, oh, this is almost exactly what I call recontextualization in video games. It's a feeling where you basically the thing that you're encountering that has this sense of vastness is causing you to have to reevaluate or like reaccommodate your model of the world that you're in to encompass this much bigger thing that didn't fit into the small model you already had. So they call it accommodation in this paper. I call it recontextualization in previous episodes. I think this is super valuable in a video game if you want players to feel like they are exploring a vast natural world. And there's some interesting takeaways here, which is one of the more interesting ones to me is that it must make you feel small in comparison to it. And what is the opposite of feeling small is feeling powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your game makes you feel like you have a lot of agency or that you are powerful and in control over everything you see, you cannot feel awe. So I think there's a very strong inverse relationship between power fantasies and player agency and the ability to have room to feel the emotion of awe, which to me is what drives exploration in video games.